everyone to Carve-Con 2021. I am Culliver Krantz, the creator of the FrightVision book series, and I want to welcome all of you to our spooky Halloween event. This Carve-Con is a little bit different than last year's virtual Halloween event that we did over multiple days in October. This year, we featured a 13 Spooky Nights photo challenge on our social media pages. And today, we will be featuring a spooky video story with the help of so many of our friends, other authors, booktubers, podcasters, spooky people, and kids. We all team up to create our own story. One where we pass it along to the next person and let them take over and run with it. And wait till you see how our story turns out. But before I send you to the story, I want to welcome you to the FrightVision universe. Some of you may never have heard of FrightVision. FrightVision is a spooky middle grade adventure series loaded with twists and turns that will keep your young readers flipping the pages, desperate for more. I hope all of you will check out the FrightVision series, as we are always looking to find new ways to get kids involved rather than just being readers. We host many different contests throughout the year. We've done video contests, writing contests, and all sorts of different things to get kids a part of this universe. Today, even in our video story, you will see some awesome spooky kids contributing to our story. And coming soon, we have created Exhibit A, which is a book that goes along with the FrightVision series, and it is actually written entirely by kids. I am so excited for that to come out, and I hope all of you will check out more about Exhibit A once it comes out. For more information about the FrightVision series, go to frightvisionbooks.com or follow us along on our social media pages at FrightVision Books. But now, without further ado, I'd like to send you off to our adventure. Get ready, nestle in, sit tight. It is time to get lost in our story. For an adventure. This is an adventure on the night before Halloween. Enjoy, everyone. Oh, welcome, welcome, a voice said out of thin air. I was at a house that I should never have gone to, and it was on the night before Halloween. I stepped inside to the supposedly haunted house, and I was on high alert as I swatted at what felt like things crawling all over me. Turned out they were just cobwebs, but I hoped that there weren't any spiders crawling around with them. But these were just the beginning of my worries on my adventure through that house.
I frantically looked around for the welcoming voice. I noticed all the furniture covered in sheets with a thick layer of dust. As I was looking around, I heard a loud bang from upstairs, followed with some eerie sounds. That's when I knew I had to go upstairs and check it out.
I quietly snuck upstairs. I tried my best not to step on any squeaky step. There's always that one step. And right as I got to the top of the stairs, I stepped on it and I panicked and froze, hoping that whatever was upstairs wasn't going to find me. I looked down a dark hallway. All of the doors to the rooms were closed, except for one door at the end of the hall, and it had a light on.
I crept down the hallway into one of the darker rooms. I lit my match and looked around. I noticed that there was an old vanity. I wiped down some of the old layers of dust on it and saw myself in it. However, I wasn't quite myself. I looked a bit older, or maybe a bit younger. I looked taller, but shorter. As I walked away, I noticed that it hadn't yet, but it only waved and tried to get me to come closer.
Come closer. My own reflection beckoned me, except it wasn't me. There was a skeletal finger coaxing me forward, and I knew with everything in me that I needed to just run. I needed to get out of there, go home, have some apple cider, maybe some pumpkin pie, and everything would be okay. But my feet wouldn't move. Instead, they were pulling me forward towards that crooked finger. Come closer, closer, closer.
I couldn't stop myself. The voices consumed every thought I had before. Closer, the imposter in the mirror whispered. All of a sudden, my hands flew forward and into the mirror. I tried to scream, but I couldn't move anything. My arms were devoured by the mirror, and the next thing I knew, I was halfway through it. And then that's when I saw it.
What I saw made me shiver. I couldn't tell if it was out of fear or delight. Pretty sure it was out of fear. An eerie specter pointed at me. At first it looked like a pale, yet somehow dark version of me. Then it morphed into a different version of me. Then another, then another. It laughed. Ha, 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 ha. I knew it was laughing at me. Why did you bring me here? I demanded. You brought yourself here, mortal. It spat. Where is here? I asked. Here is everywhere at once. Here is nowhere at all. It crackled. So you're telling me this is an enigma wrapped in questions? The creature rolled its eyes at me. You are in a reality vortex. There is a way out, of course, but quite frankly, we do not think you have the mind or stomach for it. Ha, ha, ha.
Suddenly, I was restrained by many arms and teleported to a room with a checkered floor. I tried to look around for any walls, but there was no walls. It was just pitch darkness. And when I tried to eat the cotton candy on the table in front of me, I kept hearing voices saying that I was trying too hard. Maybe it was because I was trying to eat the cotton candy as fast as I could to get out.
Or maybe it was because what I was eating wasn't cotton candy at all. It was spider webs. I looked down and I saw a mass of spider webs spun around a delicate paper cone. I screamed, or I tried to, but the webs formed a thick paste in my mouth. The most I could do was force my mouth open, but when I did, spiders ran from my mouth. My mind reeled. Was any of this real? I needed answers. And mouthwash. But answers first. I spat out the spider webs, and I walked slowly toward the door.
I put my hand on the doorknob and instantly felt a jolt. My body was spinning. The only thing I could see or feel was the doorknob. I clung to it with all my might, not knowing what would happen if I let go. As quickly as it started, it all came to a stop, and I was planted firmly on the solid ground once again.
I looked around and realized I was back at the house. At a loss for what to do next, I decided to retrace my steps. I could see the door from earlier that led me to the vanity. I tried to open it, but it was locked. I yanked again. There was no lock on the door earlier. Why wouldn't it open? Suddenly, I heard the loud banging from before.
I jumped back, startled by the noise. To my surprise, my feet landed on something else, something that wasn't there before. I stopped breathing, only to hear someone else breathing behind me. I looked down at my feet and noticed I was standing on someone else's feet, wearing black boots. My heart started racing, my breath quickened. I turned around to look the mysterious person in the eyes, only they didn't have any.
The eye sockets were staring into my soul. I wanted to look away, but I couldn't. Suddenly, I was lifted off my feet into a swirling green mist. As the mist became worse, I felt something.
A hand. But this hand was warm, gentle, as it wrapped around my arm and pulled me closer. Surely its comfort was just luring me to a more painful death. I wouldn't be tricked. I opened my mouth to scream, but the eyeless creature shushed me. "You must get out," it whispered. But its voice wasn't sinister. It was kind, caring. Could this be someone, or rather something, that would help me? "You must get out," it whispered again urgently. "I can show you the way." But how?" I stuttered. "The only way out is to answer this Halloween riddle."
He whispered again before letting out a scream. "The only way out is to answer this riddle by All Hallows Eve." Now listen carefully. You cannot run. You cannot hide. He'll find you even in disguise. Bippity boppity boo. He's coming after you.
A voice rang out inside my head, though it was hard to understand. I could feel it whispering in my ear. The hair on the back of my neck felt like little needles poking my tender skin. The voice became clear and it said, "I am a body with a leg, an arm and a head, but I look like I'm naked. What am I?"
The voice returned inside my head and said, 5. I panicked. I needed to find the answer. 4. I closed my eyes and concentrated. 3. Oh wait, I got it! 2. I paused. My mind raced through every possible answer. A skeleton! I screamed.
Correct, it said. Then everything went dark, and a sinister cackle erupted from the darkness. What's going on? Who's there? Where am I? My mind raced for answers, but none came. Just the evil laughter that was growing louder. No, not louder, but closer. I needed to get out of there, but where? More laughter. It felt like it was just a few feet from me. I was beginning to panic, so I started to run.
I take off down the hallway. It's so cold and dark. There are doors everywhere. 6, 6, 6, and 6. I hear a voice behind me and listen.
"You can run and run some more, but stop at the door with a semaphore."
A semaphore. I turn around and there it is, door number 13. 1 plus 3 equals 4, right? This must be it. I'm leaving, I think, but suddenly I'm approached by a witch.
I am the witch I like to prance. You will now forever dance.
I thought I got to go home!
Although I was dancing, I realized I lost control over my arms and my legs. It was as if the witch was controlling me, like a puppet, a dancing puppet.
That's weird.
What was that? That was scary. And I need to find a way out of this place. before it comes. Oh no. It's here. It's coming towards me. I need to get out of here. Where is it? I need to go. Which door do I pick? There's like 100 doors here. Okay, I'll try opening this one. Uh-oh. I don't know if this is the right door. I'm just gonna keep walking. There's a lot of spiders and it smells sour. Ah! Oh no, I need to go. I'm going back. I'm gonna go to door 50. Oh no, there's a whole bunch of worms in here. How will I escape it? Ugh, it smells so bad. Oh no, I hear him. He's coming. Oh no, what is that? Oh no. I heard something collapse. Hopefully I don't die in here. Mommy, I'm scared. Oh no. I hear something. Come here. You. I will give you something. Come here. And then I was running farther. And then, oh no! Something happened! I saw it. It was a window. Hopefully I can escape from it.
I saw the window. Hoping that it would be my way out, I tried to hurry to it. But it was like the floor was made of goo, and my shoes felt as if they were stuck in place. I had to try with all of my might to lift one foot and then the other. I made it halfway there, and oh no, I took the next step and lost a shoe. I had to place my bare foot down on the icky, sticky goo. Then I reached down and hoisted my shoe from the floor. But in the next step, oh my goodness, I lost the other shoe. I placed the other foot down on the gunky floor and tugged the other shoe out of its grip. Needing to make it to the window, I took one ooey, gooey, barefooted step after the other until I was standing in front of it. And then...
"You're not going anywhere until we have a talk," said my left shoe. "Oh, you better believe it," said my right shoe. "Excuse me? I mean, yeah, this is a horror story, but shoes aren't supposed to talk." I looked down and each of my shoes had a giant neon pink eye glowing up at me in the dark. Finally, with the slime on the floor, we're able to come to life and get the respect that we deserve, snarled my left shoe. "You are not going to trash us anymore, and we need you to bring our friends back to life." In the corner, I saw some fuzzy yellow things stirring, and I thought, these looked like really gorgeous backpacks. But then I realized they were breathing, and they were coming at me, and they were hungry.
My feet started sinking lower and lower into the goo. My shoes started moaning. "Oh, we're getting stuck." I had to ditch the moaning shoes. And as I started pulling and pulling and pulling and looking for something to grab onto, as the backpacks were hurtling over to me and more things started to float and zoom over to me like they were attacking me, a magnetic force lifted me out of the goo and off of the ground. I started floating near the door. And you'll never guess who was waiting for me on the other side.
The magnetic field laid me on a bed of air and thrusted me closer towards the door. I scratched and I clawed at the walls, leaving jagged marks from my nails. I yelled, I screamed, "Help me, help me!" And then the door opened and omitted a giant swath of bright light blinding me, but I was just able to make out a dark figure on the other side, through the light. Glowing shoes with neon eyeballs, the backpacks and other random things had come to life and were swirling around in a vortex of chaos all around me, leaves in a windstorm. I watched it all in fear behind me, but perhaps even scarier than the tornado behind me was what lay ahead of me. My body felt a cold rush of wet air as my feet were engulfed by the white light. And slowly, the chill crept up through my shins, my knees, and eventually swallowing my whole body as I was eaten by the light and into the clutches of whatever lay on the other side of the door. And my eyes erupted open to see a room of pale, ghostly spirits flying all around me. And there, in the middle of all of them, was my evil reflection, once again staring back at me. I stared at him, gripped with fear, and he looked back and he roared 3 terrible words. Face your fear.
Real funny, I thought. Put me through the worst torture imaginable, then trap me in a small room, all alone, with nothing, and tell me to face my fears. I mean, there was no one else here but me and that stupid mirror. That's when it hit me. The mirror. I balled my fist, mustered all my strength, and threw the hardest punch I ever had in my entire life. The mirror shattered.
The razor-sharp fragments of glass fell to the floor at my bare feet. To my surprise, behind the glass wasn't a wall, but a doorway. Carefully, so as not to step on any of the broken glass, I stepped into the doorway and entered the silence of the pitch-black room. For the briefest of moments, all I could hear were the thoughts inside my head. My fears and doubts I'd had before my journey through the house were replaced with thoughts of courage and confidence. And I knew nothing could hurt me. Suddenly, torches that were hung on sconces were set aflame all around me, and I recognized I was back at the entrance of the house. I walked to the front door so I could finally go home, and as I reached down for the doorknob, I was surprised to hear a loud knock coming from the other side.
With a trembling hand, I hesitantly reached out and grasped the doorknob. I turned it slowly and opened the door. I felt a rush of the cool autumn night air. My freedom was only moments away. But when I looked down, that's when I saw them. 3 goblin-like creatures advancing on me, arms outstretched, holding blood-covered bags. I stumbled backwards and tripped on the old Victorian rug. As they loomed over me, in high-pitched voices, they cried, "Trick or treat!" They were just kids in costumes, trick-or-treating. I don't have any candy, I stammered. One of the goblins scoffed. Psh, what an old geezer. Let's go find a better house. The other 2 agreed, and they ran off giggling into the night. It was Halloween night. When I entered the house, it was only the night before. And what did the trick-or-treater mean by calling me an old geezer? Standing, I caught my reflection in another mirror hanging on the wall. The face staring back at me was pale, with drawn features, sunken eyeballs, and wispy white hair. As I moved my hand to touch my face, the reflection copied. This time, it wasn't an evil, dark version of me. It was me. How long had I been in this house? How long had I been dancing, eating that cotton candy, stuck in the floor with my evil shoes? The confidence that I had felt moments before, the flaming torches, the feeling of invincibility, and being teleported to the front door. It wasn't my escape. It was my initiation. I was a part of this house now. I was still in the reality vortex. Trick or treat, a meek voice whispered behind me. Turning, I saw another trick-or-treater in a cape and vampire fangs, holding out a jack-o'-lantern bucket with shaking hands. Trick or treat, the little vampire said again. I felt my dry, cracked lips curl into an evil grin. I raised my bony, crooked finger, and in a raspy, menacing voice, I uttered 2 words that I'd heard before. Come closer.
Wow, and that's a wrap on another Carve-Con. I can't thank all of you enough for tuning in, for checking out FrightVision and Carve-Con, and I hope you enjoyed a spooky adventure on the night before Halloween. I'd also like to wish you and your family a happy Halloween. And I must say thank you to everyone who took part in this story. I had no idea what was going to happen when we started sending this around, and I am just blown away by how awesome this video story came out. So thank you to everyone who took part, and I hope all of you check out more about these people who were involved in this, these authors, booktubers, spooky people, and kids. We'll have some links down below of our video, and there will be another video that comes out where these people introduce themselves to you. And so I hope you'll check out that video and learn more about all of these amazing people who took part in Carve-Con 2021. So lastly, as I say goodnight to all of you, I'm going to leave you in the way that I always like to. Happy nightmares, everyone.